One at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday after a disastrous loss to the Miami Dolphins. My good friend Afram got his hands full tonight because, dude, this may be honestly one of the most negative streams I've ever done in the history of Let's Talk Jets. Tonight is the night it all goes down, Afram.
Evidently, yeah, you don't seem too happy.
I've had it.
Yeah,
well, I've literally had it. Like,
rightly so.
How does this, dude? The Jets are 3-10, 15 years no playoffs. We know the history of all the losing, all this, but there's always we have hope. We have this. We have that. We beat 3 bad teams. The team's progressing. All this. Great. Tell me all the bullshit you want. I started to buy into it myself. Until yesterday, we watched an absolute disgrace again, where they were thoroughly outcoached, and the game was over halfway through the first quarter. First quarter, the game is over. That's what it was. And now it's like, this is an evaluation year. He's got to figure out what he has. He's got to learn his staff. Here's the question I want anybody to answer me. Name 5 players, just 5. You start 22. Name 5 players on this team that have gotten better from week 1 to week 15. Name 5. Can you name 5? No, Isaiah Williams and the punter. Okay, take those out. They got to be non-special teams players. Name me 5 guys that have gotten better this year under Coach Glenn and his great staff.
Time's up.
Can you name 5?
No, you can't.
I mean, so for those who's watching, there's two different streams. There's a laptop stream and then a phone stream. So you got all this. So then it's like, okay, well, let me buy into this rebuild that we have with Jeff. This is okay. So what do we need for next year? Because what do we evaluate this year? So what do we need next year? Let's just start at quarterback. Guess what, Evan? We need 2 quarterbacks, not one. We need a starter and a backup. Starting there, okay? Well, you have 1 running back. If you were going to franchise tag Brees, what are you going to do with him? We don't know if Braylon Allen's hurt. Isaiah Davis, they barely play him. So you have 1 running back, maybe 1.5. Let's go to wide receiver because we want to give this young quarterback, or whoever it is, some guys to throw the football to. We have 1 receiver, maybe 1.5. John Mechie can't catch. 80 Mitchell's okay, whatever. Arian Smith can't get on the field. Alan Lazard will be gone. Tyler Johnson will be gone. Josh Reynolds will be gone. So in this year, we're trying to evaluate players. We have 1.5 receivers. So we need 2 quarterbacks, 2 receivers, probably a running back. Let's go to the tight end group. Okay, Mason Taylor, who's done some good, done some bad, whatever else. Jeremy Ruckert, same thing. 1 catch, 1 drop, whatever. Stone Smart's a fucking special teams guy. So you probably need a tight end too. Let's go to the offensive line while we're at this game. Okay, you got Olu, Membu, fine. Tippmann, you're going to need a center. What are you going to do? So now you need a center. You need all this. You need all these pieces just for your offense to be competent to an NFL standard. And what you can do is it's either a draft pick or free agency. With free agency, who in their ever-loving mind is going to want to come to the New York Jets off a 4-win season and a coach that's coming off like he doesn't know what he's doing and an offensive coordinator that's got a lot to prove? How are you selling this team not only to the fans, to a free agent to come here? How? They're not 1 player away. They're a lot of players away. This is a disaster.
It's gotten back to the worse than it was. We thought they were somehow getting competitive, and yesterday was just like the beginning of the year. It was just basically they were lost. They were not in position. Guys, the lanes were right open. The Dolphins ran free with no problem. 240 yards rushing.
They thoroughly outcoached the Jets. Yeah. The second time they played them, they've already played them. They got thoroughly outcoached. The game was over in the first quarter. And you're watching, you're like, this is horrendous. Like there's horrible tackling, drop balls. Like they played like one of the worst teams in the NFL. At this point of the season in your rebuild year, you want to see them progressing and you want to see improvement. I don't give a shit that you traded away Sauce and Quinn's gone and Brady Cook is playing. Don't care about any of that. If these guys would catch the goddamn football, they probably just scored 14 more points yesterday. They can't even do that. God forbid they tackle anybody. I mean, it's just I don't understand what we're buying into. And everybody was right because the last couple of weeks I'm like, oh, the Jets won 3 of the last 5, all this stuff. Well, Tyson, look who they beat. They beat really bad teams. The minute they play a team a little bit mediocre or above or average, they get the shit kicked out of them. Like, what's going to happen with the Jaguars? Like, what are we buying into exactly here? What Glenn's, well, maybe next year we'll do this, and maybe next year we'll do that. Maybe we hit on the draft picks. Maybe we hit a free agency. It's a whole lot of fucking maybes to buy into. We saw nothing this year. We've seen nothing at all. I've had it, dude. Like, I'm tired of watching them. Like, I don't want to watch them play anymore. Yesterday, first quarter, I was done, dude. Our stream was a joke the entire time, cracking joke. We want to watch to see what can go wrong next. Well, there's nothing like we're not embracing anything. We're not rallying around anybody. Like, who right now is a team MVP? Who is it? Do we even have one?
Falk. If
that,
or Austin Matthews. Austin, what's it called? The punter.
Bro, but seriously, when Aaron Glenn meets with Woody Johnson, his brain trust up there at the end of the season, and they do their season recap, what in the living fuck is he going to tell everybody? Well, we made a lot of progress. Okay, show me your progress. Where is it? Your defense blows. Your offense can't get out of their own way. Oh, you have special teams. That's wonderful. Guess what, coach? You inherited a team that had a bad offense. Your offense got worse. Your defense got worse. Everything's pretty much gotten worse since you've been here.
Yeah. He's going to say he'll probably say we valued all the plays, and there's a lot of guys that need to come back here next year.
And look at defense. Look at your defense. You have these young guys. You're like, well, okay, you know what? You have the Harrison Phillips, decent trade. You got Briggs. What happened to Will McDonald this year? What happened to Jermaine Johnson this year? What happened to Jamian Sherwood this year? What happened to these guys? This is supposed to be your young nucleus that's making a decent amount of money. They're not doing jack shit, right? Quincy Williams, he'll be gone. You get rid of Sauce. You have your prize. Cisco is a terrible signing. Bernstein has been okay. You got Brownlee. Now he's hurt. Like, you need a lot of pieces on defense too.
You're going to need two linebackers. You're going to need 2 linebackers.
My God.
Yeah.
I've had it, dude. There's just I don't know what to like. What are we even watching for now? Like, we have to hope they hit on so many things just to become competent next year. Not fucking playoffs, just to win 7 games next year. We gotta hope that can happen.
Yeah, you gotta hope they can bring enough talent into here next year to build off of that for 2027.
It's bad, dude. It is really bad because we say it can't get any worse, and it's showing that it actually could get worse because you have all these things going wrong, and you have to trust this staff to actually bring in prominent pieces to your puzzle. A quarterback, wide receiver 2, a pass rusher. Like, you're giving these guys a tremendous amount of valuable asset to rebuild your organization, and they showed as of right now, we're not sure they can even do that correctly.
Yeah. I mean, even if you lost yesterday but was more competitive, at least you saw that they're still playing hard. Yesterday was a total disaster. In fact, it just looked like the first couple of weeks of the season. Everyone was out of position. No one knew what was going on. Linebackers were totally on one side of the field. The guys were running off to the other side. Tight end was always open. No one's tackling. It's back to square one, like we just started the season.
Yeah, so for everybody that ordered shirts and sweatshirts, I know Afram's wearing his now. First of all, thank you for buying the shirts, but I mailed everything out over the last couple of days, so you should be getting like your confirmations in email. But my question is this: we're sitting here watching this. Like, yesterday broke me. I think yesterday broke me because I'm like, you know what? I'm not really sure we had the right guys in place here because the things they're potentially getting worse here. And everybody's like, now it's like, well, we've got to sell our soul for Fernando Mendoza. Okay. Just say you do that. You trade your 2 first-round picks, go up and get them. You're literally going to tell me you trust Aaron Glenn and Tanner Engstrand and this team to actually develop a young quarterback? Do you even trust them at this point? I don't.
We don't have anyone right now to try to develop, right?
Because has the offense gotten better this year at any point? No.
Unfortunately,
And then this was the ultimate kick in the nuts today, because they're talking about, man, the Steelers really got to make a change. The Steelers are really, they have Mike Tomlin and him. It's going to be a parting of ways at some point, regardless of how that season ends. It seems like there could be a change there. They're also saying that, hey, you know what? The Baltimore Ravens, they may make a change too, because it may just, maybe, you know, you're there so long, it's a change of something may work. I'm like, to me, dude, if you have either one of those coaches available and the Jets are like, no, thank you, we'd rather go with year 2 of Aaron Glenn, that is going to blow my mind. Because if there was ever time to sell an organization to a potential veteran Hall of Fame coach, it's right now. Right now, when you say, hey, John Harbaugh, this is my world. Hey, John Harbaugh, here is all these first-round picks we have over the next 2 years. Here's all this cap space we have. You can literally rebuild it in your vision because you've already done it before. Or Mike Tomlin, or any of these guys. And the Jets are going to say, nah, you know what? We're cool with Aaron Glenn. Based on what? What exactly has Aaron Glenn accomplished this year with the New York Jets after, 13 games?
A 3-10 record.
But nothing's gotten better. What's gotten better?
Yeah.
That's the question. Like, this isn't like when you're evaluating, like when you go into the season, you're evaluating your roster, you're evaluating all your players, you're also evaluating your coaching staff. Like, while it's nobody expected 7 wins this year or 8 wins, we did expect competent football. We're not like drubbing like yesterday. That's disgusting.
That was just totally out of, you know, we saw some trending that, you know, they're playing hard, staying within the game, still losing, but they stayed within the game into the fourth quarter. Yesterday was over the first half of the first quarter. 21 points, like in a flash.
But it's just,
and then when they held them in the second and the third quarter, when they needed to get another score, boom, 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 they were in the end zone, and it just basically ended the game. Not that you were thinking they were going to get back into it, but, you know, they showed some sign of holding them, but that could have just been the Dolphins holding back.
Yeah, I mean, they got outclassed on so many different levels yesterday. And now you're looking at it like you don't want to watch them. You don't really want to support. And like your whole offseason plan is like, look at what you're looking for, dude. 2 quarterbacks, not 1, 2. The most important position in football, we need 2 of them. And one we hope to be the franchise quarterback or like the new savior of the day for the team.
You got a lot of guys that are going to be free agents for this team. So you got a lot of rebuilding as far as depth, let alone. So you've got to make every penny count. You got to draft very well, top to bottom, and hope that, and if he reevaluates this coaching staff, he's going to make changes. He's got to make changes, and if he doesn't, then there's really nothing to look forward to. You know.
There's not. I mean, this is
right now. You got nothing to look forward to.
No.
But if you bring back the same element, what's changed?
But like as of right now, if you're looking, just say if you are a person that you're a season ticket holder right now for New York Jets, God bless you for that, because I gave mine up 5-6 years ago at this point. How do you sell this product to your fan base when you haven't made the playoffs in 15 years? You haven't had a winning season, God knows how long at this point, 10 years, whatever it is. The numbers are ridiculous at this point. So what are you going to sell them? You know, like, oh, well, don't worry, fan. Big things are ahead for us. What's your plan? Who is your prized position quarterback? Are you going to, we all watch Fernando Mendoza play, and we're going to watch him in the college playoffs. Is that going to be the end all be all for the Jets? Like, you know what? That's what's going to save our franchise. That's what's going to sell us tickets. Because you can make a very good argument. You don't want to trade for him because we just went over it. You need a lot of players. You're not one player away. Those 2 first-round picks you may want to give up, we actually need those to get other valuable pieces to our puzzle.
You need a lot. You need to hope to trade down and get more picks. You know, you need to find a buyer. You know,
yeah, I mean,
we always say that, but it's not. It doesn't happen all the time.
I just want to know, like, if we're like, you know, I hear, like I said, people are saying, "Oh, the Jets aren't too far away." Based on what? How are they not too far away? They don't have a quarterback. They have 1 receiver, maybe 1.5. Their entire defense has to be revamped because Wilkes is either terrible or these guys are really just their overall talent base is poor, which I have a hard time believing that.
I think it's a little bit of both.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You wonder if you gave In theory, I know he didn't want to come here. If you gave Mike Vrabel this defense, are they going to be this bad this year? Nope. I mean, I don't know where the hope comes from, dude. I genuinely don't know where it comes from. They have to pull a rabbit out of their ass with this, because like I see the mentions about Kyler Murray. I don't want Kyler Murray. I don't think Kyler Murray is like, I know I discussed this with Ian last week. We're like, you know what? If you break down all the quarterbacks in the NFL and where does he sit, he's probably top 20. He is, because that's where he falls, right in that range. But is he the ultimate answer for the Jets? A guy that has potential work ethic issues and all kinds of other issues. Is that what you want to bring here to save your team?
You want the guy that basically you're going to have him play a whole year, or you're going to have him play to 2/3 of the year and bring in your quarterback that you've drafted. You're hoping to draft this year. You know?
But is Mendoza the guy? Is that what's going to sell Jet fans? Like, how do you give Jet fans hope going into next year based off this abysmal season? How?
You got to hope that guys don't go back to school, and hopefully there's other options. Because right now you pick 7th. You know, I hate to give up all that draft capital when you know you have to fill in spots.
You need too many pieces, man. I know the quarterback is very important, but the last thing you want to do is get the quarterback and not have the pieces around him.
Yeah.
Look, it's like, okay, you got Breece Hall and Garrett, great, and Mason Taylor, great. You need a lot more than that here.
Yeah. You got an elite quarterback in the Kansas City with Mahomes.
Yep.
They're 6 and 7 because they're hurting in certain spots.
Yep.
You got to have a team. You know, the quarterback can do everything. He can do a lot when he has the talent around him. But right now, you can't put a guy in and hope he's going to, win you games when you don't have the talent. Who's he going to throw it to?
That's the whole thing. Like, there are so many things. Like, and I was kind of getting swayed a little bit. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Browns. I'm like, all right, well, the Browns wasn't really pretty, but I'm like, all right, maybe there's some things here. And then you saw yesterday all of the warts on this team. And I'm like, holy shit, what have I been looking at for the last couple of weeks? I'm like, you know what? We kind of get disinterested. Like, we know they suck. And, you get excited for special teams plays and all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Next year has a chance to be the same thing as this year when we have a lot of big pieces. And like, even as Armand said, like, we've gone through the list of free agent quarterbacks that are available. It's not pretty, man. Like,
it's
this whole,
bad as this year.
Derek Carr, like, what are we doing?
Yeah. It's as bad as this year.
This may truly be rock bottom for this team. This may be it, because they have some enormous questions to answer, and there's not obvious answers for them. You know what I mean? Like, and the other thing too is they're not the only team in the NFL that needs a quarterback. Like, oh, you know what? The Jets can get Fernando Mendoza. Guess what? Other teams need a quarterback too. Like, you got to hope Tyler Shuck keeps playing well. Shador Sanders keeps playing well. So they say, you know what? Maybe we'll keep these guys instead of going, Mendoza. Yeah. I don't see it, man. I don't see where everybody's coming around with all this positivity with the Jets. I don't see it.
They're shopping, but the shelves are bare right now.
And you got to hope they have the right guys in place making the decisions. So you figure Muji's made some really good trades. You give him that. I'll give him that. The draft, we'll see. Aaron Smith looks like he's going to be a problem. Whatever. But now it's like you got to figure out who you're getting, and can these guys be coached up with this staff? And they haven't shown that they can.
They haven't gotten better, as you said. Nothing's gotten better, but
it hasn't.
Yeah.
What are the Jets? 3-10 right now?
3-10.
We can't name 5 players that have gotten better this year. We can't even name a team MVP. It's probably the goddamn punt returner. What are we doing here?
The long snapper. No, there's nothing. We've never mentioned names throughout this whole year that this person has excelled.
Nope.
I mean, A.Z. Thomas got a little better. He's showing some signs. Is it enough?
No.
But he's showing some signs.
But even look at a player like Mason Taylor. That's a perfect example. This is a guy that could be your check down, your safety valve. You can feature him. He's a mismatch against a lot of safeties and linebackers. He's getting, 2 catches a week, not even using him correctly. You're looking at, okay, Arian Smith's a speedster. If he is playing, no vertical shots downfield, not using him correctly. I mean, Isaiah Davis barely plays him more. I don't know why they don't go Isaiah Davis, Breece Hall in the backfield at the same time. Like, if Tanner Engstrand's so creative, where is it? other than these ridiculous gadget plays every once in a while. Oh, but bro, you don't understand. He's scheming guys open all over the place. Okay, maybe he is. They're just dropping the pass. Or the quarterback can't throw, which is another problem.
Well, no, but it is true. He's scheming guys. They're just the quarterback's not hitting those guys.
I don't know where the answers are coming from, dude.
I don't know either.
I know I'm coming off ridiculously negative. I genuinely don't give a shit because I just know how this all season is going to be. And the Jets are going to be – they're going to have a lot of questions they have to answer, and they have to be aggressive. They're definitely going to pay a Jets tax because nobody's going to want to come play here. Nobody's going to want to play here. They're not. It's not like, I want to play for Tanner Engstrand. Who the hell is saying that?
Who's even a quality wide receiver this year that's a free agent? And most of these guys get re-signed back in their own team too.
But here's the problem. Yeah. You could be a quality, say Jacoby Myers, just for example, him, right?
Right.
Why would you want to come here if you don't know who the quarterback is?
Oh,
the receivers want two things. They want money and they want catches. That's what they want.
Yeah, that's how they make their money. They want to be. And of course, the free agency comes before the draft, so you got to get a quarterback prior to that. And the pickings are slim. You know, pickings are slim.
Man. What's up, Luca? How you doing, man?
What's up, fellas? 15 years without the playoffs, but I basically came on here because I watched your video earlier, Tyson. But like, even put aside me being for the tank, like the last few games, it has nothing to do with that. But you're absolutely right in saying there's basically more questions than answers. I almost feel this is Salah's first year. Remember in 2021, like we were unsure of Salah and the staff and all these different things, despite, the limited talent. And I would argue that we have more talent with this team as opposed to we did in 2021. But like what I wanted to come out of this year, I'm sure everybody else did as well, is like, I want an answer at head coach. I want to know if this is the guy. I wasn't sure that Justin Fields was going to be the guy or Tyrod Taylor. Probably not. Then you go next year into the draft, you select your quarterback. Right now, we just don't know, and that's a scary part. It's the unknown. It's the more questions than answers. As Tyson, you said, there's barely any players that you could say, oh, well, who got better? They're all special teams. They're all special teams. Isaiah Williams, Austin McNamara, maybe Quantez Stiggers is a gunner. Who else? Honestly, like defense, okay. Afram said about Azariah Thomas showing flashes. Well, will it carry over to next year? That's it. I mean, when people say this is a more than 1 year thing, like I use their logic and I say, okay, if this is more than a 1 year thing, like, is this year going to carry over to next year? These flashes at the end of the season. That's my argument. I wasn't really for these, like, if they've spread out the wins a little bit where they won some in the beginning, won some in the middle, and won some towards the end, they get like 7 wins. I'd be like, okay with that. But the problem is, like, these 3 wins that they had were with quarterbacks that won't be here next year. We don't have a quarterback. That is the biggest issue on this team. It's one of many issues, and Afram's right. This team has plenty of holes. You might even have to trade down, even though I wouldn't like the idea per se because I want the best quarterback, but I don't think we'll be in the position for that.
Nope. I'm with you, dude. Like, that's the whole thing. It's like everybody's like, oh, we got to trade up. You can make case we got to trade back. Like, they have a lot of holes they got to fill. And it's like you have holes you got to fill. And then the most important thing you worry about, do you have the right coaches in place? Like, my biggest fear is this. I'm just in a bad mood to begin with. It's like, just say you draft Mendoza next year, whatever, right? And then you realize after the year, like, man, this coach staff ain't it. So now he's going to be on 2 offenses in 2 years, right off the bat, like, boom. Good way to freaking kill your – it's just like you want continuity, you want stability, you want to build all around them. And it's like, can they even do that? Like, I don't even know.
You're essentially going to put him in the same situation that Cam Ward was in. Last year, the coaching staff for the Titans was incompetent. This year, they get to draft Cam Ward, and they fire Brian Callahan, 5-6 games in? And that's an issue of its own. I don't want to be in that position. I really do not. And in my opinion, like, people are saying, oh, pass on the quarterback for 2027. No, I don't think they can at this point, because what you're doing is if they don't win next year, you're likely going to have Muji and Glenn on the hot seat drafting their quarterback, who they may not even see develop. And here's another thing too, right? The Cowboys were expected to be terrible, mediocre this year after trading Micah Parsons. And I know they traded for Quinnen Williams during the deadline from us, obviously. But their offense was hitting on all cylinders beforehand. How can the Cowboys, with a rookie head coach, surpass their own expectations, but we have to go through the learning curve.
Yep.
It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating thinking about 15 years. And again, Glenn's not a part of the 15 years, but it's like, why do we got to go through this learning curve every year? Why can't we make actual steps? Why can't we actually pinpoint good things that are going on? That's what the frustrating part is about.
And that's the biggest thing. Like I saw in the chat saying, well, what happened to our grounded pound offense? Like our offense has no identity. The defense has no identity. The coaching staff has no identity. Like we literally learned nothing about this staff after 1 year. Nothing at all. We really haven't. Other than Banjo's very good. That's it.
It's a complete waste. Like, okay, the offensive line is good. There's people that say, okay, they just need a quarterback. Obviously, we got to see what the quarterback is next year. Number one, you have to identify who the best quarterback is for your offense, whether it's Mendoza, whether it's Dante Moore, whether it's Ty Simpson. Then you have to develop the quarterback. You have to trust them also to sign a quarterback so they don't throw the quarterback into the fire immediately.
Yep.
They cannot repeat the same mistake as staffs before them. And as you said, Tyson, we don't know what Engstrand is. We don't know. That is the biggest. That's the biggest 3-word thing. We don't know. We don't know much of anything right now. It's been a complete waste. It's like, okay, get out your mistakes now. Like we're not gonna know anything for next year. Like especially like let's just say this team is played for a playoff spot towards the end of next year, and Glenn falters. And not that I want him to falter, but like. I just don't know. And the thing with Wilks is, Tyson, you brought up in one of your videos, Wilks is a defensive coordinator with a resume that's not very good. He doesn't create a competitive advantage for his players. Jeff Ulbrich, you saw after year 2, where he with upgrades in talent, Sauce Gardner, all these different guys, where he was making the defense better, creating advantages, all these different things. Literally with Steve Wilks, it's just man coverage and blitz. That's all it is. He creates no advantage, and that's why he's been only a DC for 1 year at certain stops. There's nobody else. I would fire Steve Wilks, but at the same time, is Glenn going to do that? We have to be realistic. Is he going to give the built-in excuse to say, you know what? He didn't have much talent, so we're going to give him more talent next year.
Yeah.
But
why did he hire in the first place, though?
But the thing is, how do you have Jamin Sherwood coming off that big contract, having one of the worst years of his career? Like you're having like that's
unfathomable.
But and Luca, to your point though, it's like when the Jets went out and got Justin Fields, like all right, and they talk about we're going to build an offense around him. When the offense started out, like wow, square peg round hole doesn't fit. He doesn't fit. They weren't calling plays that suited him. Then it was like, well, he had a bruise on his leg. Then he had this. Then he had that. Like, dude, you weren't calling plays that best suited him. So is that Fields hasn't been good, but it didn't seem like Engstrand was even helping him. Like they weren't throwing any passes to Breece Hall. Like Breece Hall had 1 target in a game. How is that even possible? Like shit like that. No play action pass, no screen pass, no slants. None of like all the easy things he can do. They didn't do any of it with him.
2 things. Somebody said in the chat, not 1 interception for the New York Jets this year. Only 1 fumble recovery. 1 takeaway with a defensive coach, but also as well, going back to the quarterback thing, we were obviously the Jets weren't expected to win this year. And, we all knew that. But like they didn't pick out the best quarterback to evaluate their roster. That's one of my biggest issues. And I was a Fields guy. I am terribly wrong. They could have picked out Jameis, and I'm not, fallacy the predetermined outcome, but I was for Jameis. Jameis, he'll get you, he'll throw 3 picks in the game, but he's going to get you 300-400 yards, try to keep you in the game. Look what he was doing with the Giants. But at the end of the day, the Jets failed with the quarterback that was trying to evaluate the roster. Like I would have rather had Tyrod, Jameis, and Brady Cook, or whoever the hell you draft in the 4th round.
Yep.
They just didn't do that. They didn't properly evaluate the roster because the quarterback selected. It's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating.
Well, you've got to look at, they probably base it on his age and his athleticism. They thought they could turn him around. It didn't pan out.
But they didn't even utilize his. They didn't utilize his athleticism. But this is the problem when you have a first-time head coach, a first-time coordinator, a first-time QB coach, all the shit we knew when they did it. Like, man, this is really risky. And we talked about this how many times? Like, they really doubled down on trust us. We know what we're doing in terms of the coaches. Trust us. We had like, all right, we trust you. And now look, we are 13 games later.
A lot of the positions, including quarterback, were like, trust me on the coaching staff side, and they failed.
Even the offensive line coach, Steve Hyden.
Offensive line coach, defensive line to a fault, but you at least, here's another one. Jawan Briggs, at least he's played well. That's like another guy, but like linebacker coach, the linebackers have sucked this year.
Yep.
Secondary, what do you got to say about them? I don't know. There's not a lot to be hopeful about, and I want to be hopeful, but like I hate exiting a year like this with no answers and more questions.
Yep. No, 100%. You feel like they're at rock bottom. Like, man, we need them at the most crucial positions. We need help, and it's like it doesn't come like it's not going to be easy to find, especially at quarterback.
And then what's the expectation for next year? Like again, I talked about the Cowboys and how they're doing this year, and they were a different position than us. But like, what's the expectation for next year? 6-7 wins, and then we're just going to go magically slowly up the mountain. It shouldn't be like that. That's not the NFL today. Teams get better within 2 to 3 years. I don't know what to expect for next year. I don't.
No, that's the problem. There's no vision. Like we don't have a vision. The vision is trust us. That's the vision. Trust us. We know what we're doing. Based on what? You've never done it before. You're a first-time staff.
Don't have a quarterback.
I'm so.
You don't have key players right now.
I'm so fed up with this team. I really am. I'm fed up. I can't take any more of this because it's just you don't know. Like we're watching guys that are they're playing terribly. Half the guys aren't going to be here next year. So it's like great. Like Brady Cook's playing great. Like I will tell you this: Brady Cook should start Sunday. I don't want to see Justin Fields play again this year.
You're learning nothing if you start Justin Fields. You're learning absolutely nothing.
No, we know what he is.
Exactly. Brady Cook, at least, you see what he have for next year if he's like a practice squad guy or a backup for competition. There's absolutely no reason to start Justin Fields next week. None.
Based on the news, the press conferences, it seems he's leaning. He's not saying who's going to quarterback, but I think he's going to start Cook and just have Taylor as the backup.
If he's even healthy.
Well,
unbelievable, dude.
Good groin.
You'd rather lose young, but once again, you want to see players progress. And are we seeing that? There's largely not.
Nope. Luca, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.
Later, dude. So wait, now here's the rule in this channel. If you're gonna talk shit, at least spell the name right. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get to that. Let's right.
Notre Dame.
Jeez. What are we doing here? The fact that Alabama's in over Notre Dame is an even bigger fucking joke. I'm glad Notre Dame's not playing a bowl game. They shouldn't. But I mean, this is tough times, dude. And I know I'm coming off really negative. If you don't like it, don't watch. Because I literally have no desire to watch any game the rest of the season. Because what are we watching? We're watching guys that aren't going to be here next year. There's no hope at all. Like any quarterback on the field the rest of the season has no chance of being a starting quarterback next year. Great. Well, that's wonderful. You're playing with receivers that can't catch a goddamn football, which is absurd.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Terrible, dude. This is going back to bad. This is like the old bad news bears. Like this is like you're watching missed tackles, drop passes, bad calls. Of course, the officials don't help you at all. It's like this is crazy.
Regardless, I mean, you got to still hold on to the ball. Should have had 6 touchdowns, Mitchie. Drop 3.
Yep. It's crazy, dude. Like, I don't know what – I mean, this is going to be a really interesting offseason. I don't know what they're going to sell us, man. I don't know what they're going to sell us because it is not going to be an easy sell. It's not. Free agency, you're going to be overpaying people drastically to come here because who the hell's going to want to come here? Because you got to figure, Aaron Glenn could be on the hot seat.
And usually free agent guys are going to teams that are in competition for playoffs.
What's up, Javid?
Hey, how you doing?
Cold?
Yeah. I was just taking the trash out. I was just outside, so I just sat back down. Jets just got me down. I was
Really? That game got you down?
I mean, I was in a live stream. I don't know if Tyson noticed that. I was typing a lot, and then for a bit, like maybe between the third and fourth quarter, I stopped typing. I fell asleep. The offense. I fell asleep we were on offense, and I fell asleep.
You didn't miss much.
I woke back up. I was like, "Oh, geez," and then the score ain't changed.
I mean, the game was over halfway through the first quarter. The first quarter, the game is over.
It's like a preseason game. It was.
I told you I decided if I hated the jerseys based on how we play. Man, I hate those jerseys. Don't bring them back ever.
No, I'm good. And that's the other thing too. It's like all the Jets do is they win a couple of games and they cannot promote these fucking uniforms any more than that. Like buy this, buy that, buy this. How about you worry about winning games? Like that's all. Like this social media thing is like they get so desperate.
It's like that. It's like that Will Ferrell movie, Semi-Pro, where he just advertises they play like shit, but he sells the team and
Oh,
he
Hey,
promotes it. That's what they do.
Quincy came dressed up as the Joker. I mean, it looked like we had a bunch of the Penguin on defense. It was fucking shit.
Yeah, that was. I didn't understand that. Yeah, that was.
Dolphins
but you look at this was probably in a lost season. This was probably one of their worst games yesterday. Like,
Nah.
and it's just can't catch, can't tackle, can't run. They can't do anything.
Can't do anything. Can't.
And so and then and Java, here's a question. This is a very basic question. Name 5 players that don't play special teams that have gotten better this year. Can we name 5?
Better.
Time's up.
Uh,
If you can't get one right off the tap,
I'd say I mean I won't say gotten better because obviously he didn't play last year, but I say Memphis played better than expected. But that's not getting better. That's not something you look at where you know if that's coaching or not. That could just be him just being more prepared than we expected. I
Like, is Mason Taylor progressing right now? Do we say, wow, he's really emerging into a dynamic playmaker? Is he progressing?
no, but I don't know if that's necessarily on him. I keep getting told about, there's people open, there's this, that, and sometimes I see it. I won't lie and say I don't see it sometimes, but other times it's like there's things that normal plays we do that teams do that we don't. Put the ball in Mason Taylor's hands. Like give us a tight end screen. I mean, shit. I mean, we can't even get a running back screen. I don't know why I'd ask for a tight end screen. That's fucking never gonna happen. I don't know.
You asked too much. I think you asked too much.
We can't get the ball in his hand quickly. We can't just run a tight end up the seam, the most basic route for a tight end outside of like a curl or an out route, which I mean, I guess we get the curl and the out routes, but actually we don't really run curls with him, but we get the out routes, I guess. So just the simple things, you don't see. And I don't know. I'm not going to ask for like firings or new staff because I just.
But do you feel comfortable at this point saying, say the Jets land at spot 6 or spot 7 in the draft, which is a decent guess is going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you say, you know what, we have to trade up at all cost to get Mendoza? Because I'm in the position right now. It's like all these first round picks the Jets have, we actually need them now to help rebuild this roster. Like, we're not one quarterback away. We went through before. How many players you actually need? You need these draft picks, dude.
Yeah. So I on Mendoza, I'm not gonna like hate on him or anything. I've thought he was good. When we were sitting there potentially having a top pick, I was thinking, he could be our quarterback. I'm just not sure if I think Mendoza's 2 or 3 first round picks for him good. Nope. Especially where, I think he's athletic. I think he still has a limited athleticism ceiling. I think we saw some of it against Ohio State. Like he had some nice little scampers for 5 yards, but he was getting chased down easily by anybody on that line. And especially don't make it a linebacker. He's not, and that's not, obviously that's not his profile. That's not what he's expected to do. He's expected to make the right decisions, make the right passes. Okay, can I say something weird?
Why not?
We've been asked for so long, especially at the quarterback position. Is it wrong for me? And obviously, we struck out on the high potential prospect. Is it wrong for me to want I don't want to hear, man, he has a nice floor. I want this guy can be the best quarterback in the league. Is it wrong for me to want that?
Yep, that's what I want. You want the slam dunk quarterback. You don't want the project, maybe this, maybe that. I want the guy like, you know what? He's a must-have. Like, this is a guy that everybody's like, you know what? This kid's legit. Not, well, maybe this and maybe that. You take a chance. Like, you can't. Especially if you're going to trade up for him. Like, give all the – it's like, I just can't do it, man. I know the need for a quarterback, but I cannot give up all that with he could be good, not great. And that's not what I want then.
Then who is it?
That's the question.
The thing is, I don't know who is it, and I'm not paid to know who is it. They need to figure that shit out. That's how I feel about it.
Do you agree they have to take it this year?
No, I don't. I still obviously no. I don't want to watch us be ass again next year. I don't want to watch us miss the playoffs again. We haven't made the playoffs since I was 10. I'm 25. Like this is like. But at the same time, if in 5 years I look back and say, man, us drafting wide receiver and fucking linebacker this in 2026 was the right decision to make us be successful in 2027 when we drafted a quarterback. I'm not going to care that we didn't draft quarterback when we had to, when we felt like we had to, because we rushed the decision. And that's kind of like the thing with Mendoza right now, especially if we finish, if we do end up winning a game, because, obviously we do still play the Saints, who knows if by the end of the season, if we're playing
Still playing well.
guys, or I mean they are, but that's still a winnable game. That's
Yeah.
that's still a winnable game. I think this is gonna be both teams. Just no, you have it. No, you have it. It's gonna be.
Tyler Shuck played well yesterday, though.
Yeah. But if we're too low, I think the issue is feeling like you have to draft a quarterback, and then you look at a guy and you say, I like him, and then I like him. You convince yourself I like him means I love him, and then I love him means I need to have him, and then next thing you know, you're giving away a good first rounder next year for a guy who you're being sold is, no offense, I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but they're saying like he's a slightly more athletic Jared Goff if he hits his potential, and I'm like, that's just, I mean, Jared Goff right now is, he's playing well, but he has a stacked team around him. Like they have one of the best lines of football. They have 2 good running backs. They have 2 good wide receivers. They have a Heisman winner wide receiver, and he's not even the best receiver on their team. And they had a quality tight end for you. I mean, he's out for season, but they have a massive, very good infrastructure around him. So I think that's what we should be looking to do. Add another receiver. Just keep building the team out. I think at this point, you're asked for 15 years. What's 16 years missing the playoffs?
But the thing is, you take that. I agree with what you're saying. You take that approach, but you got to hope these guys are all getting coached up, though, and you're maximizing the potential of all these young players, not being wasting their time and wasting their years.
Yeah, that's the worst thing right now.
That's the biggest concern, to be honest with you, because I don't think Wilkes is very good, and Engstrand's got a lot to prove. Now it's like this year we have no idea what Engstrand's offense is whatsoever. We have no idea what his rhyme or rhythm is with the offense, his play calling, anything like that. We don't know anything about him right now. Nothing.
I feel like we're in limbo as fans, and it's like
it sucks.
If they say it's the hope that kills. I'm struggling to find hope, and it's weird because entering this season, I would have told you this is basically what I expected. And then as you go through the off season, you watch content, you go through the preseason, you sit there thinking, we can surprise, we can, who says we have to be the worst team? And then you convince yourself, and then it's exactly what you thought it would be when you made those hires back in February because you were coming off of a shit season and you had no hope for the team anyway.
And you said exactly right. It's like sometimes we allow ourselves to be fans. Like you beat the Falcons. We're like, you know what? Let's enjoy these wins because we don't get many of them. You try to convince yourself. I'm definitely guilty. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this because we want this ship to turn so badly. We start. Maybe this is actually turning, and then we get the great reminder yesterday. No, we are far away. Like that was the kick, like the ultimate slap in the face. Like back to reality, Tyson. This is what we really are. Don't. Let's not get fooled here.
We dropped anchor again. That's it. We dropped anchor. We're not moving.
I think I like the Detroit comparisons because it's simple to make, and it's one of those situations where you talk about like the late wins and everything, and obviously the Lions, they took even longer than us to win in their first season.
Yeah,
but I was gonna say the problem with this is when you get wins late in the season, everyone wants to say like you're learning, they're moving forward, and you're gonna take this to the next season, and most of the time you don't. And you don't know whether it's going to carry over to next season until it does. And that's what happened with the Lions, right? Where historically, they've always been bad recently as of the last, 2 decades plus. And there were some seasons where they won games late and you said, oh, look, we have something. And this guy might be the guy. And you come to the next season and it's shit. And it stayed shit until it was Dan Campbell. And I don't know if Aaron Glenn is going to be our Dan Campbell. How the fuck can I know? This could just be like winning late games with Saleh or Gase again. And then you're just ass.
But there was a quarterback they had either Stafford or
Goff played bad. Goff was terrible that first year. Like he was not a good quarterback that first year.
But he was a number one. He was a draft pick, high draft. We don't have anything close to that. That's the problem. We don't even have anything remotely.
Have we had any games this year? Any game where we watched this team? Man, that's a very well coached offense right there. Wow, that's a very well coached defense. They're really disciplined. They're really doing it. Like we haven't had any of those games. Like granted, you had like the first game of the year, like offense was high flying. You've had a couple of them against like putrid defenses. But it's like anytime they face legit competition, it was like, well, it's a shitstorm. You never felt like they were greatly coached.
No, yeah, I agree. The only thing I say on the Goff thing is the Lions did have Goff, and obviously Goff turned out to be a good quarterback. But during that first year, they weren't looking at Goff and thinking he's the guy. They only took Goff because they had to get the Stafford trade done, and they got multiple first round picks with receiving Goff. So it wasn't a lot of people paint that as the Lions identified Goff as their guy. No, they didn't. They brought Goff in because they could and they had to, and then they got first round picks of them, and they were going to draft a quarterback if he sucked. He didn't. That's just how it worked out. But obviously, we don't even have someone who can work out right now. We have Tyrod Taylor, Brady Cook, and Justin Fields is probably not going to play a single game the rest of the season. So that's just no way to happen.
Johnny, good talking to you, man.
Nice talking to you too. Hopefully,
you take the hat off. You're warm enough.
Have a good night, man.
Hopefully, under better circumstances next time.
Love you later, man.
Nice night.
All right, so I feel like it's Mendoza or nothing next year. The Jets might trade up, or I hope to God this doesn't happen. We get Kyler. We need to draft a quarterback. I don't want Kyler Murray. I don't want him. I understand the notion behind him.
You got to trade for him. You still got to give up capital for him. He's on the contract. Yeah. And you got to pay that contract. What is he now?
Well, I mean, they're in a tough spot, man. I think they may even cut him at this point, dude. Move on.
Yeah. Well, let's hope. I don't want to. And listen, man, I watched the game. He made Mendoza made the throws he had to make. He wasn't scared. He played it tough. I don't know why people, he managed the game. He won the game. Yep. The question for me is, unless I have that pick and he's there for me to pick him with that one pick.
Yep.
Like you said, I can't. I got so many holes. I can't afford to surrender everything. They say, well, you got to get your elite quarterback. Look through the history of a lot of teams, a lot of coaches. Mm-hmm. They come into a situation where they have a lot of good plays. They have their quarterback. They just didn't have the coach who could put it together.
Yep. All
right. And you'll see. I looked at this closely. Like Reed started when he first started. He was 5-11. But he had McNabb. He had some really good players on that team, and he put it together, and he boosted up. Harbaugh had the team ready for him. He just came in.
Yep.
And he put it together. He did. That's why he was so successful in his first year. Everything was there for him. But we just don't even have that. Nope. That's the thing. We just don't. We don't have anything to build off of.
Nope. And it's tough right now.
Yeah. And so you got to decide, Moochie, are you wasting a year? Are you going to take a quarterback that you could think could be a manageable team and build a strong team around him and win that way?
But that's why this entire season seemed like a waste. We didn't establish a defense, and we didn't establish an offense. We have no identity whatsoever on any side of the ball other than our special teams. That's what do you sell Kyler Murray? Well, this is our offense, Kyler. Well, what? You didn't show us any of it. We don't know anything about this team whatsoever. It's wild, dude. And the whole caveat with this year was we all kept saying, you know what? We just got to get as long as the team shows improvement towards the end of the season and you see development and progress, we're cool with it. That's what we all asked for. Are we seeing that right now after that Dolphin disaster yesterday? Well, there were zombies out there, are thoroughly outclassed, and they were embarrassing. They played some of the worst football we've seen. Dropping passes, missed tackles, looking lost. What the fuck they're doing? Give me a break.
They were just basically didn't show up. That's what it looked like.
But that's on Aaron Glenn, though.
Yeah.
They got a little bit of success. A little bit of success for fans like, you know what? We're kind of buying into this vision where you're scratching and clawing and pulling out victories with special teams or whatever else, and then they get thumped. It's like, oh, great.
I think they went to the game thinking we have a really good chance because it's the cold weather and it's our home field. Well, guess what? It didn't pan out. You can't go into any game. This team can't go into any game thinking that they have the advantage.
Nope. And the thing is, do you go into any game thinking we're going to outcoach the other team?
No. You don't have anybody to work with.
It's just garbage, dude.
I'm
just fed up. What's up, Nick?
Hey, man. What's going on, Tyson? Hey, Ephraim.
How you doing, Nick?
Yeah. So I was at the game yesterday. Actually, because surprisingly, a lot more. I guess Miami fans travel well, but a lot more fans were at the game than I thought. But I got upgraded, got to sit behind the Dolphins bench, and the whole game. They were laughing the whole game. Literally, the only person I was behind Dolphins bench and behind their O-line, and the only person they were concerned about, because I heard their O-line coach screaming at them, was Jermaine Johnson. That's the only person on the defense that they cared about. And literally I remember it was 17-7. And he's just like, you're getting sloppy, cut the shit, all this stuff. Yep. And he's like, where do we talk about with Jermaine Johnson? And then the next drive, I knew it. I was there by myself, but I would look at the person that I'm like, they're going to score on this drive. And I knew it. They went down. It was a field goal, but still, you just knew that they were going to correct everything. But to me, the quarterback discussion, the team has a lot of holes, right?
Mhm.
And I think they're eventually going to be filled. But like, there's some things that. Well, first, I'm gonna pose this question to both of you. It's kind of a weighted question. How much do you value, right, the most important position in the NFL, right?
Mhm.
I'll ask you both just for argument's sake. What is that position?
It's quarterback.
Quarterback.
Okay. So how much do you weight that position in evaluating that position versus anything else, right?
Mhm.
And not to say, and I was there, and I'll discuss my opinion later, but like that Brady Cook is the answer. It was his first game, and I think they were not prepared. I found out again that Tyrod was injured. I thought, oh, we're down whatever it was, like 17. I'm like, oh shit, like Glenn's actually just pulling the trigger early to give
Yeah.
this kid a chance to maybe revive this offense. Even though Tyrod, like, I get it, like you could make the argument he didn't do anything per se to like lose the starting job at that point. I'm like, oh, maybe he's just trying to spark the team. And then I find out it was an injury that he came into. So how prepared was he? Very debatable. But I guess my long-winded way of asking this question is, how much do you value the rest of the season evaluating a Brady Cook as potentially a starting quarterback who had a terrible game versus all the other skill positions that we have with that Tyrod could potentially elevate? Because you all have watched as much football as I have, probably more than I have. And a young quarterback generally is going to go towards a tight end, maybe a slot receiver.
Yep.
Evaluate the full offense, but you'll get a better idea of if this is the right guy. So that's my first question, and then I have another.
I mean, for me, Fields is out of the equation. Like, I don't want to see Justin Fields the rest of the season. I think because he serves no purpose for me. We know what he is. He's a bad quarterback. That's just not fitting here anymore. Tyrod gives you a chance to see what these kids actually are. Like, you get a better offense with Tyrod because he can spread the ball right and make throws, but he's hurt. Brady Cook's an unknown. Like, you know what? I'd rather see one of those, either Cook or Tyrod. Tyrod's healthy, I start him. He probably got hurt again in two quarters. And then if Cook plays, let him but if Cook plays, let him throw the ball around though. Don't take the ball out of his hands and get ultra conservative. Like, play exciting football, man. They took one deep shot yesterday. It actually worked. And they didn't do it again the rest of the game. Like, what? Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. And he was getting rid of the ball quickly, which you're going to need because when you put a rookie quarterback behind there, they're going to try to blitz the shit out of him.
Yep.
All right. You need to get the ball out, and he's got to make, even as small throws, he's got to get it to the guys, and they have to catch it because then they'll start to back off of him. But he looked okay. He made it for someone who doesn't even get first team snaps or any snaps. Came in, did the job. I think he's going to.
But the thing is, it's like, and if you do play him, this is your opportunity for your coaching staff to coach him up and come up with a game plan that is functional for him. Don't let him get overwhelmed. Like, we talk the same thing with Justin Fields. Call plays that get him comfortable and get him confident. Don't go run third and long, punt. Like, don't play in positions where he's get the shit blitzed out of him. But that's on coaching too. Like, they can help him as well.
No, that's fair. I think it's just, and I don't want to speak for both of you, but like the consensus is you would give him, like, let's say 2-3 games to start versus giving those extra games to evaluate Mitchell, Mechie, any other young players.
Well, I mean, I think Tyrod probably gives you the best chance to evaluate your roster, and Brady Cook's just interesting because we don't know what he is. So just for like the entertainment factor, it's like, oh, you see what Cook is.
Well, I think that's kind of like, it's like waiting. Like, you could have 3 games of like, all right, well, Mitchell gets 8 targets versus 3 games where he gets 3 to 4, right? And maybe not knowing as much, but it's kind of like, how do you evaluate those last couple of games? The other question I have for you, and this is something that, and again, money wise, I haven't really looked too much into it. I know he's got a lot of guaranteed money, but something that I didn't realize that Mac Jones, Jameis Winston had 2-year deals and they need to be released to be available. And so looking at the free agent market, I was very taken aback, to say the least. And so then it got me thinking about like free agents or who might be cut rather like, obviously Murray has been a name thrown around, but has anyone discussed, and I know he's had a terrible last 2+, I don't even know, 3 years there, but Deshaun Watson, I feel like but just hear me out. Just hear me out on this. I'm just saying a flyer. I'm not saying paying him anything close to what he's making. But just hear me out. Like in comparison to all the other quarterbacks that are going to become available, he's got starting experience. He's a guy who's been a Pro Bowler. He fits and he does for whatever the cost. I'm not saying him by himself. I want them to draft a quarterback with him in the first round, but as a bridge, taking a flyer, if Cleveland's going to be ahead of us and take that quarterback, they may move on from him, and you may get a situation like Russell Wilson's contract, and he's the type of guy, say what you will, he fits all the mold of the Parcells quarterback that Glenn seemingly likes. I'm not saying he's the answer, but if you're talking about bringing in Kyler Murray, who's 5'9", 5'10", and 20 years old, I don't think he's going to do much. And you have a 30-year-old Watson who's 6'6", who's proven himself at this level. He fits the mold of what. And again, one of our best years, I know Tyson, you and I are relatively the same age, was 98. Testaverde was a reclamation project. So I could totally see them taking a shot. I'm not saying he's the answer. You pick him with a first-round pick quarterback that you don't have to throw in there. I'm not
completely out on Watson. I have absolutely no interest. What about you, Avram?
First of all, I can't see them getting rid of him because he's owed too much money.
The contract's an albatross.
And quite frankly, if he's healthy, he's probably better than anything they have there right now.
Hey, Shador,
Well,
listen, played well.
Armandus, we all deserve a happy ending, man. We all just deserve a happy ending.
Deshaun can bring those here for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just,
I would take Tucker too, honestly. I think Tucker's not a bad. He was a real accurate kicker. Say what you will about his whole off the field stuff. But.
Just bring in everybody.
Sure, bring those two guys in New York City. What can go wrong?
Listen, Lawrence Taylor had a great career.
Yeah,
Ray Lewis had a great career.
These are desperate times right now. Holy cow! The fact that we're discussing Deshaun Watson as an option is showing how bad the Jets are right now. This is where we're going.
Ray Lewis practically had a guy murdered in his limo, and he got away. And he had a Super Bowl. Like no one's squeaky clean in the NFL these days. Let's be honest.
I mean, Watson went through all that shit. He was playing awful. Then he's going through serious injuries back-to-back years. I'll pass on that.
No, I'm not saying, but like a reclamation project, it might not. I mean, the options like Mariota, like free agents, it's not much worse.
Are we looking to reclaim him or get a young quarterback and build off of him?
No, both. Because when you think about it, like Testaverde was on the team when we drafted Pennington. Pennington sat. I don't think any of these quarterbacks, including Mendoza, are ready to play right away. I don't want any of them playing 6, 7, 8 games into the year. I sit and give whoever veteran. I don't care.
Mike
Mac
White
Jones,
than fucking Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, but back then you would sit the quarterback for a while to learn. Now is you can't hold on to them long enough.
Patrick Mahomes was sat for the whole first year.
Yeah, for Alex Smith, because he was playing great.
Yeah, 1 year.
Still, I watched Patrick Mahomes year 2. His first year, I was in a preseason game in Kansas City. And after watching him, I was like, this guy sucks. He's going to be awful. He's going to be Jamarcus Russell 2.0. And then he came out, and that year he threw 40 touchdowns. So, sitting still works if you have the right coaching and you're just able to digest things. You have to know the playbook at the end of the day.
Yeah, right coaching and put people around him.
Nick, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, pleasure, guys. Take
Very
care.
well.
It's friggin' December 8th. We're talking about Deshaun Watson right now, Afram.
Hey,
this is where we're at.
We also got who was it? Derek Carr coming out of retirement.
I hate this team. I do. Days like yesterday make you hate them because you have to deal with all I have friends that are Dolphin fans. They're all talking shit. Oh, we swept you again. Jets can't do this. Jets can't do that. All and you can't even argue with them. You're right. We know. And then the thing is well, you got to be excited about the offseason. I guess you can be nervous as hell too, because your biggest decision is what do we do at quarterbacks? We need 2 of them. And that is a scary thing to think about.
We thought we needed 1. Now we need 2.
Yeah. Good job. Go team, go. Yeah. I can't believe we're here again, dude. I can't believe it. It's just wild. This never ends. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. It definitely was one of the worst games I've ever seen with the Jets for a lot of reasons. I think I had more hope with this year than I did in prior years,
But I remember teams back in the early 70s when the Jets had like the defense was riddled with injuries. They didn't have great players. And you know what? They still played 10,000 times better than we saw on the field yesterday.
Yep.
And if I hear one more person tell me about personnel, I will really lose it, because you know what? These are all professionals. I'm not saying they're going to be you're going to have a top one defense with backup players and young guys and stuff like that. No. But this is where coaching comes in. This is where a lot of this comes in. You know, Cincinnati has interceptions this year. They have a lousy defense. They've got picks. They've got fumble recoveries. Jets have none.
None.
It's not just personnel. You can't, and that's what coaching comes in. You know, I was thinking about it. It's funny. Last year, Detroit, their defense was riddled with injuries. They literally set records for the number of guys on IR.
Oh, yeah.
They had practice squad players. They had guys off the street playing. And you know what? Detroit's defense, despite what idiots will tell you, they in rankings, they had a decent defense. There are certain things they gave up a lot of yards, but points they didn't. This year's Salah with San Francisco, they've got a lot of injuries out there. They lost Bosa. They've got players wiped out. They're up there. They're around number 10, number 11, because they've got coaching that can deal around with it and play to the skills that they've got.
Yep.
There's nobody that's going to tell me. I'm looking at this team, and this is the same argument about getting rid of Wilkes. Well, yeah, you should get rid of him. He took a team that was a defense that at the beginning of this year had a lot of players from the pass regime, and that defense had been really highly ranked. I was surprised. I thought they were worse than they were. And he took it and trashed it.
Yep.
Now, oh, well, it's the personnel. Well, who brought the personnel in? Who drafted these guys? You can't, and you can't just blame it on Muji, because guess what? Aaron Glenn was there.
Yep.
They drafted these guys. I'm sure he had a big role in that. So where the hell is, what's going on here? And what's really disturbing me, I was sitting thinking about it today. We went from a transition year that basically said we don't have a quarterback. So maybe Fields will be okay. If he turns out that he can revive himself, he's fine. And if not, we've got a bridge quarterback for next year.
Yep.
For if we have a rookie. Well, we didn't draft anybody this year. Okay, fine. Brady Cook, leave him aside.
Well,
So-
the Jordan Travis thing blew up too.
That blew up on him. But again, it was a deep pick. But the point is they had no quarterback, right? But now what it looks like, looking at this team, assuming that a lot of these players are either going to cut them or they're not going to be here unless they all of a sudden miraculously get better, we're going into a year. This is almost a year zero rebuild. Outside of the offensive line, forget the special teams, right? Special teams is great. Offensive line is there. We can fix that. That's not a big problem. They can get players. It's not a big deal. We got Garrett Wilson. The receiving staff, who the hell knows? Some of what we saw yesterday with Brady Cook, it could have been he was overthrowing the ball. The kid's got an arm on him, and that's young quarterbacks do that.
Yeah, but the pass to Mechie was an easy touchdown, dude.
I know, but I don't know. Again, I don't know for sure. I'm not trying to
Justify anything, yeah.
Justify it or defend them. I'm just saying it could be, because the number of drops was just amazing. Or it could be they got iron hands. But
here's an idea. How about they act like a professional fucking football team and catch the goddamn ball? How come every other team in the NFL could bring in a backup quarterback and they're not dropping 6 passes? They can have injuries and not miss 17 tackles. Like, why is it always the Jets we have to justify poor play when anybody else can do the opposite?
And looking at it, you got a guy coming in there, okay, whatever. I actually thought Cook did okay. He wasn't totally rattled. There were signs that he had some good things. Who the hell knows, right? But now we got a problem. One of the things that's really bothering me is we're going into a year zero rebuild. Basically, this is what this year was. It's almost as bad as when Salah was here, literally, although we have an offensive line and stuff. So now we're trying to make up for all these pieces. And I just don't think we have to see what happens in the offseason. If Glenn keeps his coaching staff, we're doomed, because no other head coach, after seeing these kind of results, would keep Wilkes, would keep London. There's a lot of those coaches, a lot of the position coaches, the defensive secondary coaches, the linebacker coaches. They're not coaching these guys up. You know what? Because these guys are professionals. These guys have been playing football since Pee Wee. And some of this shit is basic. How to tackle. You learn that in high school. You learn it. I learned it. You learn it in high school. They played college ball, a lot of them at a very high level. They wouldn't have gotten drafted if they didn't. And this is basic stuff. And if it's failing, it is to a large extent the coaching. It's not that they can't do it.
I agree.
And it's coaching. It sets a tone. It sets whatever. They're not addressing it. I don't know why. I'm not a professional. I mean, but I know enough about coaching, what it can do. I've seen it.
Well, also the thing is too is like when the defense has been this bad, like when does Aaron Glenn get involved and start calling plays himself?
And that's the other thing. I mean, scheme has a lot to do with this. You can scheme around things. You can, if you're not getting pressure, there's ways around that. And they weren't doing it. And Wilk's scheme is about as vanilla as anything out there. I mean, I was seeing defenses like this in the 1970s that weren't exactly, there were some good ones.
Exactly, yeah.
But most 1970s defenses, they'd all figured out. The NFL had finally learned from the AFL how to blitz and stuff like that. And they were doing safety blitzes and linebacker blitzes. But it wasn't the schemes you have today. It wasn't the disguising stuff. And it's just like whatever. And I think what's really worrying me, I'll get off because I'm not going to go too long. It's not, we can kick this around and just make ourselves miserable. Yep. But one of the things that really, really bothers me about all this is it is a lack of plan. And it's also wondering, there's a disconnect. They brought Fields in, right? Engstrand is obviously looking for a pocket passer. He's looking basically for, exactly, you can say he's looking for Jared Goff. He really is, right? So so what do? They bring in a mobile quarterback who had questions about his passing and then try to get him to pass. It doesn't make any sense.
But see, but that's the first big strike on Glenn, Muji, and Engstrand, because they went out and got Fields quick, drastically overpaid him more than anybody was going to give him, and said, trust us, we know what we're doing. He's going back to his Ohio State days. We're going to maximize his potential with the Go Pro and all this other bullshit. And meanwhile, he had week one look great. After that, went right into a shell. He didn't know how to, like, the offense, like it wasn't suited for him.
Well, the other thing, it's not. Engstrand, the thing is, we all talked about this. We said, okay, with Fields, you roll him out, you do play action, you do RPO, you do all these things that are around a mobile quarterback that can't really throw from a pocket.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if that's valuable. I don't like that. But what the hell? There was a disconnect there. And my guess is it was probably Glenn, because he probably is enamored of running quarterbacks, with the mobile quarterbacks. He thinks this is a great defense.
Ego too, because he was so confident that, right after him, like, I think Glenn was like, Fields is my guy, and there was a reason he kept pushing him out there.
I'm going to make this happen.
Yep,
that's what it is. I'm going to make this. I'm going to show everybody and make it happen. And now he's eating humble pie right now.
And he thought he could will his way through things. Culture is a great thing, and there's some elements. The only thing I have to say is that if this was prior years, by now, the media, the beat writers, the Atlantic, you'd have a flood of articles about guys saying all this, trashing all this stuff. Yep. You'd have all this crap. We're not seeing it. So at least that's decent, right? I mean,
not yet.
The off season. Yeah, there's always time. I know we got how many games. But one last thought on this was, every time it really bothered me, and I was trying to wonder why. Every time Glenn opened his mouth up about Detroit, he's doing it a lot less now. But every time he opened up his mouth and said, Detroit went 10-1, yada, yada, yada. And then year two, they were yada, yada, yada. He turned that. It's almost like he thought that was a game plan. Like, This is what you do. Like year zero, you have garbage. Year two, you're trash, but you're not quite completely in the garbage dump. Year three, you look a little bit better. And then year four, you look much better, because that's what Detroit did. It's almost like he has that as a template. You can't do that. You've got to make it good every year. Now, maybe he's not. Maybe I'm being unfair, but honestly, in the offseason, he's got to fire guys, because Dan Campbell, after that first year when Goff was terrible, the offense was terrible, he fired Anthony Lynn, who was supposed to be this offensive genius, which, by the way, I think is bullshit, but that's another story. He's overhyped too. But the point is, he fired. He said, we're not doing, something's not working right. We got to make changes. Can Glenn recognize it after this Miami game? If he can't recognize that,
well, he said a couple times in press conferences that he's got to evaluate his staff. We got to evaluate the coaches. That's great. You can do all those evaluations at the end of the season. When you're 4 and whatever the hell you are, 4-13 or whatever it is. All right, this was just not good enough. And when you're seing piss poor defense, we can make out.
What he should be asking himself is, look at the mess that this year was, and say, what would Parcells do? And damn well what Parcells will do. If he got this kind of results, there'd be nobody that was safe.
There was an analyst, I forget, who said, you've got innovative offensive coordinators in other teams, and you got a guy in defense who just doesn't know how to handle innovative offenses. He just
No,
makes
he's
it enough.
a set.
And
with
he doesn't have any innovative defenses. He just sits there and just throws what he knows
if you
and
look at
hopes
his
the best.
history, he had one top defense in his whole history as a defensive coordinator. I looked it up. I looked up the stats. It was with San Francisco. He inherited a defense from Ryans that was a number 3 defense in the country. It was a great defense. He didn't have to bring in personnel. He didn't have to do anything. And those guys could run. You didn't even have to scheme them. You had guys like Bosa there. You had all that team there. His defense ended up being number 1, but he didn't build it. He just basically took what was there. And his scheme could work because these guys were that good. But
and he still
he's
lost
not a
his
guy
shot
to build
after
the
that
defense.
too, right?
Hmm?
He didn't last more than that 1 year.
No,
You gotta see-
they went to
you
the
gotta
Super
see this-
Bowl and Shanahan fired him.
This play just now on the foot. Anybody watching the game? Jalen Hurts throws an interception. The guys bring it back, fumbles it. Jalen Hurts recovers the fumble and it gets punched out of his hands, and then the Chargers get it. This play was absurd, dude.
That sounds like a Jets. That sounds like a Jets
Dude,
play.
it's just like
No, it can't be because somebody fumbled and we never got the ball.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
well, no,
that's
there's,
the difference.
there's also
In the
there's also
past, we had
interceptions
games
involved.
like
We don't
that.
get those either. So
We don't get those either.
anyhow,
So.
I wish I could sit back and say I'm highly optimistic. There's all these things. They've got some decent players, and they got a lot of holes. They got a lot to do, and I can't see this is not going to be another. This is not going to be a 2-year turnaround. This is not going to be like next year.
No.
All of a sudden, we're talking about possibly making the playoffs. If he does, then I'll give him all the credit in the world.
it's a miracle.
But I don't see it.
If he
Not
puts
with
the
this
proper
staff and
staff in there, they make some great moves on the free agency and draft. We might see a competent team, but
Yeah, might.
until
We
they
still
get
need
that
trust
quarterback,
Trust us. That's our next shirt. Trust us, bro.
No,
Have a
we
good
need,
night,
we need
man.
the legend.
this is the best
We
shirt
need
right
the
here.
legend. We need the legend T-shirt, Tyson.
We need
You
some.
definitely
Have a good night, man.
take care.
Good call, man. He's a good caller. I mean, this show's been. I mean,
It's depressing. Yeah, it's very.
And I can't help it.
depressing.
Like, I
It's
know, like-
frustrating. It's frustrating.
like I know, like everybody, like a lot of people download the audio to this. They listen on podcast networks. I know this is completely negative. Ryan already texted me. Ryan's like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" He goes, "People are saying you're going off the rails right now."
Which
Like,
Ryan?
this is what it is.
Ryan from where?
Jets talk 24/7.
Oh,
He's streaming. And he's like, people are commenting. I went off the rails tonight. That's how I feel, though.
yeah. It's-
So
what else are you gonna do?
we suck. I'm fed up with it. I don't want to do any more of this.
No, you got 21 points in like a flash. You know, I mean, literally in a flash, 21 points.
And now we just got to try to find answers for next year. And it's like it's just the more they play, the more questions get generated. And that's the problem I think I have right now.
Right now, these last 4 games, there's no reason to play anyone but Cook.
No, it's crazy, dude. It's completely crazy. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate all the support. It's not easy times right now. I pretty much hate everything. So we'll talk to you guys later. You want to say goodbye, Ephraim?
Goodbye, everybody. I want to say hi, Armand. I forgot to say hi to you.
J-E-T-S!